দিয়েছে আয়কর বিভাগ। এই নিয়ে কর্মীদের আরো দায়িত্ববান
Additional CIT Assessment Unit, Kolkata, to present Madam Sangeeta Yadav, Additional CIT, NFSC.
Spirit of the city is the first thing that we are looking for. The second is the infectious spirit in the house. And the third is the infectious spirit in the ideas that we intend to collect and collate. We are here because normally the faceless team only grumbles about koi to hamare room mein nahi aata hai. No one comes to us, no assessee, no chartered accountant, no human interaction, only that digital screen. And it's kind of expected to be a little more frustrating than the experiences of our face-to-face with which we all grew up. Fortunately or unfortunately, the world has changed. And changed so much that it's not going back. So, I have a terrible throat. Abhi mulle theek khansi sab cheez chal rahi hai. But I couldn't help recall ek Runa Laila ka gana humko bahut bada pasand tha. Emonet Takesh ter bhaile patro nai badi bi badi ache badi bi badi ache shakki kothay pai o daruga bhai kemni nalish ko sajai. So faceless somehow has brought us to that kemni nalish ko sajai badi bi badi ache shakki kothay pai. In this search for evidence, matching of information, data, that the whole faceless paradigm embodies, somewhere we are missing out two very important components. They were mentioned by Srikanth, but their value has somehow not really been absorbed into our subconscious. The first, of course, is our system-based working. All of us, when I grew up, and I was up to the time I was additional DI in Bhubaneswar, I thought, oh, computer pe kaam karna is below my dignity. The steno will work, I will do the dictating. So being hands-on on the computer is something one learned late in life, at least my generation. The younger ones are better. So now the world has changed, that the computer, e-governance, minimum government, maximum governance, ये सारी जो चीजें हैं, ये हमारे लिए, they are now the defining parameters of our work. There is no world of work beyond them unless it's in very rare exception cases. So the first thing to absorb deep into our subconscious is that हम सब टेक्नोलॉजी कर सकते हैं. जब व्हाट्सएप में पोता पोती के साथ, बेटा बेटी के साथ आराम से चैट और वीडियो कर सकते हैं, it's the same part of the brain that's using the same technology in our departmental labs, in ITBA, in the computer, on those work-related technology. Person-related technology में हम अच्छे पारंगम हो जाते हैं, बड़ी जल्दी हो जाते हैं. No matter what late age we start, even our grandchild teaches us, and we are happy to learn. So the first thing to know is that technology is now ubiquitous. There's no getting away from it. You have to work with technology. The second thing to do is that data is king. Data is the new oil. So the pain, if at all we are experiencing pain in our faceless assessment, sometimes even getting a bad name because I'm at the head of it, so I'm getting all the flack. Nobody wants to be posted in faceless. At my stage, in my level of seniority, किसी को भी आप बोल दो कि अभी जगह खाली है, they don't want to come. It's only crazy heads like me who believe that this is the way forward for the department, for the country, for the taxpayer, for the tax administrator. Because when you work with data, you work in an inviolable way. You do not then go out chasing after किसने घर बनाया जी, कितना स्क्वायर फुट का बनाया जी, हम उसको मापेंगे इंस्पेक्टर भेज के. You start looking at which database is capturing that information. Is it land tax, house tax, holding tax? कहाँ पर उसका information already तैयार एक तरीके से है. So that I will then go after the databases. Do it matching with what I have from a variety of SF. Basically a lot of common sense. I am not an engineer, I am a sociology person. But if I use and understand data, it's only in a very common sense, logical way. That data can be matched. If there are mismatches, it means something is going on. And the matter comes to us to find out what is going on. If you can find out using data, perfect. If not, थोड़ी सी human assistance की ज़रूरत है. There is a VU. They are also having their own issues and their own dukkhas. Fortunately or unfortunately, we have created the faceless world, the paradigm, as we like to speak, paradigm changing हम ले आए हैं department में. We have created it without buy-in, without consultation, as something that was looked at as thopod from the top, not really taking people on board. So our hearts were not bound to the new paradigm because we had no say in how it was decided and done. And because there was an element of surgical strike, aa gaya, announce ho gaya, वगैरह वगैरह, we jumped into it with kacha system. Our systems were possibly not ready. So the end result of that is suffering. You are suffering because our processes, our SOPs and our ITBA and our CPC and their alignment is not matching. Taxpayer is suffering because हमने दो लेयर का बना दिया, ITO को बना दिया, उसके ऊपर बिठा दिया रेंज हेड को. Nobody gives a damn. कुछ भी उठा के टाइप करके ऊपर भेज दो, एक बॉस तो ऊपर बैठा है अप्रूव करने के लिए. So the range head is now dealing with comma, full stop and grammatical errors also, apart from the factual and the legal glitches. When you take away accountability, you create a situation like this. When you do things thoughtlessly, without heart, you create a situation like this. Our facelessness, and I have said it openly in forums where the finance minister, Honorable Madam, was listening, is that we did it with half a heart. Hence, we are suffering. But the fact is that facelessness is not going away. It's here to stay. It's already sent down small roots, and those roots are now going to go deeper. It is not going away. जिस दिन आपके मन में ये वाली बात एकदम 3 बार अंडरलाइन होके रेड ब्लू ग्रीन में आ जाएगी, it is not going away, उस दिन your acceptance of it will be better. और कल जैसे हमारे वायरल हो रहे थे खबर, CBI ने ऐसा किया, CBI ने रेड किया, DC, इंस्पेक्टर्स, सबको कंट्री भर में रेड हो रहे हैं because they are selling data, they are compromising facelessness. वो वाली दुर्गति की खबर, you think when I read it, how does it feel? Here is my organization, which is trying to create a paradigm which is the only one in the world. Feel proud of that. Faceless assessment and appeal is the only one in the whole world. An attempt to do this tax administration in a completely anonymized, digitalized way. Hyper digitalized. शायद हम उसके अभी काबिल नहीं हुए हैं और चीज आ गई है, तो क्या चीज को पुल डाउन करेंगे या अपना स्तर बढ़ाएंगे? The idea is for me to come and speak to each one of you is that अपना स्तर बढ़ाना पड़ेगा. We have to raise our level of ownership and taking control and bettering the faceless experience for our officers and for our taxpayer stakeholders. Because somehow ऊपर में शायद उनका मन भी आपके ही जैसे मन होगा. आधा आधा हाइब्रिड कर लेंगे जी, थोड़ा कार्व आउट कर लेंगे जी, we'll do some exceptions, we'll remove the big ones, big taxpayers, complex cases, big turnover cannot be done in faceless. This is an argument I keep hearing often. Only small cases, or worse, let us ask the assessee, does he want to be faceless or does he give him an option? जैसा आपका मन है, जैसा आपका कल्चर है, assessee का मन और कल्चर भी वैसा ही है. Both will match and the country will have 80% of people saying we don't want faceless. Because it is so easy to come across, do the deal, influence the outcome, not do the hard work of creating good accounts, proper, well-tracked financial systems. उसमें मेहनत लगता है. डील और सेटल करने में तो बहुत आसानी है. So even the taxpayer also, if I gave him a chance, I'm not sure that a large majority will not say that we want to be face to face. That is the reason, because our culture continues to be still very, what shall I say, in that colonial master kind of era, वो जो feudal वाली होती है ना, अभी भी हम शायद उससे निकले नहीं है. कि जहां पर ट्रांसपेरेंसी, अकाउंटेबिलिटी और अच्छी वाली डिजिटलाइज चीज को दुनिया में स्टैंप लगा के रखने का मौका मिल रहा है, हम उसका भी चेर काट रहे हैं, उसको भी कॉम्प्रोमाइज कर रहे हैं. बिकॉज वी वॉन्ट इंडिविजुअल पावर, वी डोंट वॉन्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन टू बी इफेक्टिव. आई वॉन्ट कि माई इंडिविजुअल पावर शुड बी सच, मैं 10 एडमिशन करा सकूं स्कूल में, डॉक्टर को बुलाऊं घर में, मेरे बाप माँ बीमार है, घर में आके डॉक्टर सर्विस दे, ऑल ऑफ विच वी आर यूज्ड टू. I have also grown up in that same culture in very small Mofussil town charges. But when I see that the world has changed, I am ready to change. Those who are not ready to change will be dragged kicking and screaming to the table. These are the words of the last Revenue Secretary Sanjay Malhotra sir when he called me to discuss and say that your department is not taking ownership of faceless. You are being called you've been dragged kicking and screaming to the table. How do you think that gives out a flavor of our organization to the whole world, to those in government? Ki when something good is given to us, it may be imperfect. Instead of bettering it, applying our mind, wanting to make it the best in the world, here we are jad kaatne mein lage hain. You require CBI to come, you require data to be sold, for things to be flagged at such a terrible level that this has to be mentioned to people who understand that it is faceless, it is data driven, it is anonymized. ये सब words के मतलब हमें समझ में नहीं आते हैं. That your pains are very well known to me. The pain of working on a computer, the pain of having ITBA not respond, of sending computations which go and get stuck, of having to do faltu fund like dry run. So many of the processes can be bettered with better systems. Our job in Delhi is to continuously fight for better systems. You will give me the input and I will continue the fight. My team here knows कितने झगड़े होते हैं ITBA के साथ at the highest level. All those झगड़ाs will eventually, slowly, incrementally result in better systems. Because it is a very massive change. It will not happen overnight, and we have jumped into it with a middleware, like ITBA 1.0 है, which cannot handle many of the things we desire. Parallel working it cannot handle. Architecture में ही possible नहीं है. If I want कि मैं भी एक फाइल पे काम करूं और इंस्पेक्टर को डेलीगेट कर दूं कुछ काम, वो भी simultaneously RSA token से काम करें, it is not possible in a middleware, which is what ITBA 1.0 is. It will be possible in ITBA 2.0. जिसकी अभी RFP लिखी गई है, उसके कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कॉल हुए हैं, वो प्रोसेस ऑन है. सो अलाउ टाइम फॉर चेंज, एंड एज एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन लेट अस ईच वन शो सम पेशेंस, सम स्मॉल हार्ट लेवल अटैचमेंट with a scheme that is brilliant in its concept and in its design, that is imperfect in its execution. I'm the first one to admit. Because I was in the pilot project, 2019 when the pilot project was rolled out by the finance minister, 25 PCIT चुने गए थे और हम लोग उसका पहला SOP लिखे. I was one of those 25. So I understand how we have evolved from that to now, much better, going further is going to be definitely better. But only if we do not question the core values that facelessness embodies. This, my dear teammates across the country, is the way forward. It is not being rolled back. And if we do things as has been done in the recent past of people compromising it, data कहीं से leak हो रहा है, data बाजार में बिक रहा है, network of tax consultants है, अपने inspectors, अपने staff है, जो एक दूसरे को contact करते हैं. It is such a shameful event. It leaves a very bitter taste in the mouth. Let us rise above. I understand कलयुग है, but कलयुग में भी थोड़ा सा धर्म बाकी है. वो धर्म हम लोग, each one of us, let's keep it to ourselves and let's show it in the attachment we feel at heart level for this baby scheme. It is still early years. 4 साल क्या होता है जब आप पूरी paradigm change कर देते हो? It is still early years. Give us positive suggestions for how to improve data. Much of the problem we face is because of our data is impure. It is because right now I'm holding charge of INCI also. So I'm seeing कहाँ से वो third party data आता है, किस quality का आता है, कैसे उसकी treatment की जाती है, फिर वो भेजा जाता है either through 148(a)(d that route or through the direct 148, which is the INCI verified 148, NMS AD, दोनों finally आते हैं faceless में. And it is the poor quality of our data, the quality of the taxpayer जिसको हमने scrutiny के लिए select किया है. In INCI, non-responsive, untraceable, आधे से ज्यादा. अब वो बंदे का अगर केस आता है फेसलेस में, अच्छा वो जब जाओ के पास आता है, when it is done 148(a)(d, they are also भर के ex parte. We all have that experience. We all have worked sometime in JAO and sometime in FAO. वहां पर भी last minute में data आता है, one notice goes and everything is ex parte. When that work item comes to the faceless, how will the faceless poor guy find the fellow and pass some brilliant order? इधर भी 144 ही होना है. It is almost kind of a foregone conclusion that if the fellow has not come before the INCI and the JAO, he is not going to be turning up before the FAO. So, in that scenario, we don't blame each other. We don't say कि faceless बर्बाद है, इसको हटा देने से तो great assessment होने लगेंगे. I am also from the face-to-face era of many years, having done the 150 every year scrutiny assessments. How many of my orders do I myself recall as having been such great orders before I point fingers at anyone? We did average work then also, we are doing average work now also. Then also we had some compulsions, now also we have some compulsions. So to think that faceless हटा के फिर से face to face कर देंगे तो बड़ा great order आने लगेगा. That is a miasma, a myth. Junk it from your heads. बड़ा great assessment तभी होगा when the information is pointed, solid and the evidence is correct and you know how to read the evidence and the law together. If you are trained in that. If not, पहले भी face to face में junk होता था and we see the litigation and the demands that we have created over the past. अभी भी junk ही हो रहा है. So somewhere, start owning up what is an important initiative of the department and own it up with your heart. Give constructive suggestions. Help us to improve it. Help us to showcase to the world. Other countries, अभी BRICS के countries सब आए थे and they want us to teach them how to do faceless. अरे बड़ा great आपका चीज है. You are doing anonymized and you are doing digitalized. Our people are going to take classes for them and help to set up their system. I was laughing inside कि अपने ही country में अपना ही department का बंदा has not fully accepted faceless. क्या हम चले हैं दूसरों को पढ़ाने के लिए? It's a kind of hypocrisy. So we will first ourselves understand what a great thing we have created. It is not the perfect thing, but if the great start has been made, it should be taken forward in that spirit. So this was my simple message to you. And as far as appeal is concerned, we've been trying to do many new things from NAFAC so that, अच्छा ये नाम भी जो है ना, NAFAC and NFAC. Who thought of these names? I feel like tearing my head out. Even my member sometimes laughs. क्या जाज़ेब ये कौन सा NAFAC NFAC है? It shows to me our lack of heart at the highest levels in not even finding a good enough, distinctive enough, beautiful enough name to name something which was a newborn baby. So as in casually उठा के, you know, National Faceless Assessment Center, National Faceless Appeal Center. अब दोनों को लिखने का तरीका नहीं आ रहा है तो N small a FAC, हम बोलते हैं NAFAC, कोई बोलता है NFAC and NFAC. These acronyms, these naming exercises, we are taking it very seriously. We have moved a proposal, whether it will pass or not, I don't know. We have moved a proposal for what I call the slim and sexy faceless. Pardon the language. We have moved a proposal for making it administratively more coherent. The two wings are kind of sometimes at odds with each other, not utilizing common resources. वो TU बैठा हुआ है काम के बगैर और यहाँ पर CIT अपील को केस लॉ खोजने में कोई मदद नहीं है. So how to use our existing resources more optimally? With all this, we have moved a proposal. It may pass, it may not pass. But I want to share with you the name that we have given. We want a renaming also. We are calling it Advanced, Digitalized, Intelligent Income Tax Administration. Advita. ADVIITA. Advanced, Digitized, Vertical for Intelligent Income Tax Administration. Because it is unique. Advitiya hai ye. It is the only one in the world. So it should have a name like this. But we are also good with the existing name. क्योंकि जब faceless होता है तो हमारी कमिश्नर सरिता जो आई हैं, I asked her, yeah, give me a slogan which will make faceless sound sexy. And she said, हमारा काम ही हमारा चेहरा है. That essentially underlines for us as an organization what we should be. हमारा काम हमारा चेहरा है. I don't want my bindi and my jhumka to be seen by the whole world. If I can pass the order properly, if my organization has a map of its skills, if the skill map and the work is targeted and matched perfectly, you know we have a winner for the organization. And therefore, we in NAFAC and NFAC have also moved proposal for doing a skill map of our department. कौन बंदा किस काम के लिए प्रयोज्य है, क्या जानता है वो सब हमको अगर if you ask me what are you good for, what will I say? I have worked in this, I have worked in this, I have worked in this, I have done some assessment, यही बोलेंगे ना. But really if the department wants to send me out into the world and say go out and help the taxpayer, what can I help the taxpayer with? What is my competence? As an organization we don't know our own competence. Each one person knows his or her personal idea about, वो अपार में भी लिखता है ना, वो बॉस भी लिखता है कि कौन से काम में इसको पोस्टिंग करना चाहिए. Can we have a competence map, a skill map of our own people, so that we know that in this anonymized, sometimes the bloopers that happen, बड़ा केस कहीं चला गया, उडुपी में कोई ITO के पास पहुंच गया, maybe State Bank का केस. That fellow is pulling his hair out, doesn't understand the financials. So can we have our own skill map, our own specialized knowledge holders, and map that when we do the anonymized तरीके से हमारी random allocation होती है, वो उतनी random नहीं होगी, वो skill के साथ, knowledge base के साथ link होके जाएगी. This is my dream. This is a concept that we have moved, and I'm hoping that in the months to come, we may be able to start work on a competence map for the department, so that individually I don't have to leverage my own competence just for getting a deputation, just for going out somewhere and getting some training and some foreign whatever assignments. The organization is strengthened with a solid competence map, and we know whom to train further. It is not कि आज मैंने banking का केस किया है, लेकिन मैं insurance सीखना चाहती हूँ. You can always say I dream of this. Then your training will be done, so you develop competence in what you want to develop in. So to design ourselves, to redesign and refashion ourselves for a world where data is understood, where digitization is understood, where really human face and human jhumkas are not so important. That is the world we should have understood long back. क्योंकि हम early digitizers हैं. सबसे पहला कंप्यूटर वगैरह हम लोग amongst the Government of India departments हमने पहले शुरू कर दिया था. पैन कितनी पुरानी है, अभी भी लगड़ा रही है. Having started early, let us understand that we make our department stronger, really ferociously stronger and influential if the department has data, good data, quality data, and we know how to work with data. That is a skill each one of you can start developing. It is not an impossible dream for me to have when I interact with each one of you. So, for the faceless paradigm, things are moving ahead. I can definitely tell you about that. In Delhi, we have moved so many proposals for the appeals, for example. Legacy appeal, जिसमें ना Form 35 है, ना assessment order है. No documents are there, but one work item has been created. We have pulled out data. We have moved the proposal. इसको एक lot में हटा दो. Give it to some face-to-face guy. वो बुला बुली के खत्म करेगा. At least my faceless CIT appeals will not have to grapple with that frustrating feeling when you open and there's nothing there. When you have a 600, which is a very stiff target, 600 and nothing is moving. But I also know, पुराने जमाने में भी लोग 400-500 कर लेते थे, 600 वाले भी लोग थे. In the days when I was CIT appeal LTU, I know some of my colleagues were doing a huge number, and I would wonder how. Until I opened the file and found his CD with the order, draft order, वो बंदा दिया हुआ है, वो फाइल के साथ कि कोई भूल गए थे निकालना. So it was somebody else who was doing the order and we were just signing off. That has got now exposed when we have gone faceless. Now you have to do your own order. So those numbers therefore are seeming very big and very stark. But at the same time there are people, there are CIT appeals across the country. We've been doing small group consultations. लोगों को जो एकदम टॉप परफॉर्मर है और जो बॉटम परफॉर्मर है उनको छोटे ग्रुप्स में दिल्ली बुला के we are sitting down with them to see कि बाबा क्या इतना बढ़िया काम कर रहे हो, give us your tips so that we can share with the others. So the successful CIT appeals are working every day. That is one thing. They are working in office. They are using their full team to divide the work. Even if they are making physical folder, they are keeping track of it and they are finally scrapping it. They are not allowing the folders to become source of data बिकेगा market में. They are keeping a close track on each one of their people. OS तक को भी job दिया गया है. आप सिर्फ डाउनलोड करोगे, सुबह 2 घंटा आप कंप्यूटर यूज करोगे, because RSA टोकन एक ही है. They are delegating to the inspector and they are remembering and pulling it back from the inspector once the delegation work is over. Sometimes they forgot. We had bloopers. अंबाला पटियाला कहाँ पर पंजाब का किसी बंदे ने हाई कोर्ट ने कहा था 3 महीने में करो, वो भूल गया है. Because he has delegated and the case has vanished from his work list, it has gone to the inspector का work list. अब उसको पुल बैक करना नहीं हो रहा है because inspector transfer होके चला गया. नए बंदे का RSA टोकन लिंक ही नहीं हो पा रहा है. So now we have developed a functionality in ITBA को बोल के कि आपको MIS आएगा कि कितने केसेस आपके डेलीगेटेड में पड़े हुए हैं, हर 15 दिन में जरा देख लीजिए और उसको वापस पुल बैक कर लीजिए. Because the fellow may be kind of there or finished his work or vanished. So these are tweaks in the system that we can enable only when we get feedback from you. We are taking out lump sum cases to remain with the JC appeal जिसके पास काम नहीं है. अब JC appeal को 800 का टारगेट तो दे दिया. Many have workload of only 600. How will they pass orders? Hence, अभी recently 2-3 last week what came was that TDS survey वाले cases will remain with the JC appeal. They will not be treated as surveys because they are really 201 is not an assessment order as such. So that bundle of work जिस पे काम नहीं हो रहा था because doubt था, सर्वे है, JC अपील के पास नहीं होना चाहिए, वापस जाना चाहिए to central. That has now been clarified. These are ways in which bulk cases are being identified for some kind of specified treatment so that your body of disposal becomes little faster. And at this point, one cautionary note, just because 144 को आप set aside कर सकते हो, doesn't mean कि you will not apply your minds to the 144 set aside. Because chairman last week asked me कि please pull out data and show me कि कितना proportion of total disposal is made up by only set aside orders. And they are very large, which means people are doing only and only that to get the numbers. Because what about those who want priority hearing? There are those who have genuine dukkha, who have real difficulty and who would like their appeal to be heard faster. So the priority appeal concept, everyone is aware here. 24 March 19th, there is a department instruction. In that, many were thinking that they don't fit into those 4 criteria. Because 1 crore se upar demand, senior citizen, high court order, or what is the 4th one? Genuine hardship. So we found that there were cases of large MNCs, LTO cases actually from Bangalore, which the PCIT refused to recommend, saying कि इसकी तो genuine hardship है नहीं है, तो इस flourishing, इसका तो इतना बड़ा business software का चल रहा है. The people came and then we had a very elaborate discussion. And now I am sending this out as a message which you will kindly convey to the field, that genuine hardship is not just मेरे सर के ऊपर छत नहीं है और मैं भिखारी बन के रास्ते पे हूँ. That is only financial genuine hardship. Genuine hardship can be lack of certainty in my taxation. My financial statement has to be published and the market will see so many of these disputed demands lying in my balance sheet. I have to put out notes to accounts. And my share value may come down if my balance sheet is carrying all these uncertain disputed liabilities. That is also genuine difficulty. Please be sensitive to the notion of genuine difficulty, and the PCIT JAO, who has to recommend a case for priority appeal hearing, must be sensitized about the wider ambit of meaning that the word genuine difficulty carries. It is not just financial genuine difficulty. Hence, it's an overriding thing. Even current appeal को भी किसी का अगर उतना problem है, वो current appeal को भी priority में मांग सकता है. There is no bar on what the taxpayer feels is his genuine difficulty. The only layer of check we have kept is for the PCIT to do a physical kind of a factual check. Figures are correct, demand is correct, the amount claimed is correct, but not to sit in a big judgment over what is genuine difficulty. So learn to appreciate that when you carry uncertainty in your mind and heart for very long, it can be a very, very painful experience. For appeal, I think broadly, Sangeeta, is there something else I'm missing out? For VC functionality, for the CIT appeals, we have moved a request that VC should be on from your side also suo moto. You want to hear from your side, you should be able to ask. There should be a radio button for you to ask for hearing, just as the assessment side has 131 में उनको allowed है कि वो खुद से भी, if they want, they can fix the hearing, the virtual hearing. And we have also said that the taxpayers' experience of asking for a VC is very, very painful in the appeal forum. That we have asked for some tweaking and for some technology changes in that. So broadly, trying to ease your life and trying to ease the life of the external stakeholder. Intentions are good. Effort is hard. I think both my teams in NAFAC and NFAC are working very hard. Collecting data, networking regularly, trying to hear voices from all sides. So this field interaction is supposed to be the strongest kadi in that process of improving, fine-tuning and making our faceless experience robust, our paradigm the best in the world, and our systems so nuanced and so user-friendly that many will in future want to come to Faceless and not go to the face-to-face verticals of the department. Thank you so much.